name is Odike. I'm an entrepreneur. That's really what I do. It's what I've been doing for years. And it's been a bit of I think I would use the word interesting, sometimes exciting, sometimes hard, difficult, sometimes joyful, especially when you see the impact that you're making in people's lives. Because we're in the business that hires young people who have no experience. And so seeing them transform from people who don't have an experience to having some level of experience and then moving on with their lives to other opportunities can be very satisfying. I think that when people talk about scaling or think about it, they need to understand what they want, first and foremost. So the way that I would think about scaling is this, for example. Now, I have an example which, you might laugh at, but I just want to be able to relate to pretty much everyone. So think about this. If you take the bus to work, and then when you get to Oshodi, you stop, and then there's a woman selling akara. And then you buy akara from her. And then so tomorrow she says, oh, I have a lot of demand. So tomorrow she brings her daughter to the marketplace and sets up another store nearby. And then they start. Okay, so now there are 2 points where she makes her car from and people are still queuing up and buying. And then the volume of business is going up. Now, remember, when she was doing it the first time, in her head, she has all the formula for this now. So there's pepper, there's onions, there's the beans itself, that is blended, and there's oil. What type of oil, right? Now, and then the quantities. So she now opens another store. How does she translate the formula as producing that cake, the way it tastes? How do you make sure that taste remains the same when you open the next store? Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective again. That now, they're not even able to service the demand. So she says, oh, we have space in our backyard. Let's hire 5 more women. And instead of just waiting for people to come and line up, let's now go and start doing, people can order online and you can deliver a car to them. Okay? What are the things that you should look at, you should think about? Number one is, how do you ensure a consistent tasting paste? Right? That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is, now that you're buying in bulk, can you negotiate better terms? Okay? Number 2, now that you have so many other customers, how do you manage those customers? How do you make them happy? If a customer has an issue, before, maybe if someone had an issue, they would just walk to the store. I said, madam, this one, we get a CBO, right? Please excuse me, I'm using the language of a common man, right? And what do we do? What do? You can say, oh, bring that one, I'll make another one for you. Another illustration I want to use is in building, okay? So, when you want to do a skyscraper versus when you want to do a single family unit, a duplex, right? How do you plan? It's completely different. The foundation for a skyscraper versus the foundation for a single family dwelling, a duplex, completely different, right? So you need to plan for the skyscraper, same way that you need to plan for a duplex. Now, if you want to go from building duplexes to building skyscrapers, you have to then look at your processes. Right? Process of getting approvals, who your builders are. Are you going to change some of your suppliers because you want suppliers that understand what it is to build big versus the ones who are building single units, right? So these are the things that you think about. So when I think about scaling, right, I have to think about, first of all, is it about my products or services? Am I trying to broaden my offering to the same customer base? Okay, that's one form of scaling. Or am I trying to increase my customer? Like the example of the Accra woman or the building. And so what type of strategy should I think about? What should I, So when you think about scaling, what I want to actually emphasize is understand where you want to go. Do you want a skyscraper, 40-story building? Do you want to do a duplex, right? Or do you want to do a 5-story building? Do you want to do a 10-story building? So each of this size of buildings has different types of things that you need to do that are peculiar to them. And so you need to be prepared, first of all, to understand where you want to go, where you want to be, right? You cannot be planning for a 5-story building as if you're doing a skyscraper. However, if you're doing a 5-story building and you have a plan to go to a skyscraper, then you must make sure that you're already, even in doing that first project, thinking about how you're going to do the next one. Of course, the success here will determine how successful you will be in scaling up to a 40 or 50 or 100-story building, right? So I think that when I think of scaling, I mean, for example, with ourselves, when we started maybe 50 seats and to where we are now, more than 1,000 seats. What has helped us is that we have consistently made sure that we have the right processes. What is the span of control? What is the maximum span of control for the different levels of people in the organization? Those are the things that you should look at, right? So if you have one person managing 30 people, if you have one person managing 50 people, and so on and so forth, should you not increase, right? So those kind of things are things that, first of all, you understand the way that the process runs for when you have 50 seats to when you have 200 seats, when you have 300 seats, and so on and so forth. So, and then one very critical aspect is, as you begin to scale, as you begin to increase your products and services, do not let your customer service lag behind, right? Because the worst thing you can do is to scale and not be prepared when it comes to your customer service. And that's where we help organizations as well. We help them when they're scaling to say, okay, hey, I have an in-house contact center. I don't want to expand that, but I want to expand my business. That's where companies like ours come in, right? So I have X number of reps. Leveraging technology, we at Outsource can help you to expand your outreach, giving them the right tools, and then of course, helping you to extend the size of your sales force. So yeah, that's how I see scaling.